Welcome back. This is Wednesday lunchtime. Gauteng's former health MEC, Bandile Masuku, says a court application that led to his dismissal is, in his words, unlawful and unconstitutional. Now he's lodged a complaint challenging the findings of the Special Investigating Unit, the SIU. Kaizer Kganyago speaks for the organization and joins me now on lunchtime. Mr. Kganyago, good afternoon to you. First of all, just to get on the record, you are aware of the legal challenge against your findings. Are you ready to go to court?
So definitely we have received the papers that we got from the lawyers of Mr. Masuku, and we are going to defend the matter in court when the date is set. On the papers, I think the date that is requested is the 14th of November, but we are ready. We are preparing ourselves to respond to those papers.
Let's work through a couple of the claims that the former MEC has made. The first thing he says is that you're trying to destroy him and his political career. He also says that your findings, to quote him, are garbage.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jeremy, we cannot be responding to those at the present moment. We will respond to them in the papers that we will be filing with the court. But all we can say is we really are concerned about the kind of language that is being used in the papers, because this is not the language that we think it needs to be used, but it is a choice that he had to make to use that kind of language. We will put our position very clearly in front of the court and make sure that whoever wants to listen, and the court will be able to listen to our case, and we are confident that our case is strong, because we have dealt only, when we gave the report to the Premier, we've only dealt with his responsibility as the executive authority, and we have not as yet dealt with the part of his direct involvement in corruption as it is indicated.
What insight, Mr. Kganyago, can you give us into your probe itself? How extensive was it, and who did you speak to?
No, the probe that we're doing was very extensive, and for an example, in relation to him, we just looked at what his responsibilities were in terms of the PFMA and in terms of the Constitution, and we have outlined them and we related them to the way things happened in the department, and that's what the basis of our report to the Premier was. And I must hasten to say that we did not do that because it was him. That's why I don't understand why the political influences and so on are involved. Because when we did the same thing to the CFO a few months ago, nobody said there was political interference. When we did the same thing to the head of department and gave the report of their involvement, nobody said it was political interference. But now, when it is the MEC, all of a sudden it becomes political interference. But what we did with the MEC, the same thing we did with the head of department, the same thing we did with the CFO, and the same thing that we did with the head of SPM.
Mr. Kganyago, what was the extent of your engagement and questioning of the MEC himself?
I didn't get that.
What was the extent of your engagement and your questioning of the former MEC himself?
Yes, we did. We did call him to our offices, and we had the engagement with him, and he gave his side of the story. And whatever we have put out there, we have taken into consideration all the people that we have interviewed, because you need to understand that it was not only him that we interviewed. We interviewed many other people, and they gave us their stories, and we have that, but that has to be reserved for the court case that is being put, because now the matter is sub judice.
And you're absolutely confident that your findings against him are watertight?
As far as we are concerned, we have done everything according to book, and whatever we have, we will present to the court, and the court will make their own decision on that.
Kaizer Kganyago, thank you very much indeed, speaks for the Special Investigating Unit.